Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Mark My Brain. Today's topic is something that I think about a lot lately, that's been on my mind, and that is the courage to take your passions seriously and the importance of side projects. Specifically, we'll take a look at what the benefits it can bring to take your interests and hobbies and passions more seriously, how you can specifically develop and grow them in this manner, and how it can potentially open a new path forward in your life. So, let me start by just saying that it's okay if a hobby is just that, a hobby. You know, not everything needs to be, restructuralized to be the most effective, the most productive thing, and not everything needs to make you money. Not everything needs to immediately be a business. This notion that I've been feeling lately on the internet to make everything as productive as possible. So let me just say that it is okay if you have a hobby and you just want it to be a hobby. But what I want to focus here is exploring possibilities, how you can develop it into something else and into something more, perhaps. And as I mentioned, if you find the courage to take your interests and hobbies a bit more seriously, you can very well discover a path towards a better job, better life, a better future. And one of the ways you can do that, you can transform your hobbies and interests into something else, something more, is I think with side projects. Side projects can often grow and develop into something else themselves. For example, a hobby can become a new business. So, what exactly am I talking about when I say a side project? It's hard to explain because it can be basically anything. But let's imagine a scenario that your hobby is drawing, for example, and you just draw every couple of days for 20, 30 minutes, you sketch something, and that's it. But perhaps you want to explore ways how to do more with your passion for the art. What you can do, you can decide to, well, make a side project or make a project tied with drawing. It can be, for example, drawing every day and making a theme specific collection of drawings. And it can be sharing your drawings, for example, every week, sharing your progress, writing about your process, how you draw, trying to film it, and share the videos. Start some social media account where you can just share your thoughts and ideas about drawing and your creations and talk with like-minded people about it. This can all be a side project, as I like to call it. Hopefully, you get the gist of it. And I see this as an opportunity to grow not only your hobby or interests, but to grow yourself. Because deciding to take your interests and hobby more seriously can be a key to some form of self realization. It also keeps your life interesting, and as I mentioned, it helps you grow as a person because you oftentimes have to learn new skill, new abilities, adapt to new problems. You face challenges that you have to overcome, and you learn all of this during the process of working on your project. It's about designing and pursuing a vision. It not only forces you to grow and, as I mentioned, develop new skills and abilities, but it also makes you exercise independent thinking and explores your passions maybe more deeply and in ways that you previously haven't imagined. And a nice benefit to all of this is that if you decide to explore the opportunities highlighted here, the opportunities to grow and develop your hobbies into something else, something more, it can all be done in a very, very playful way. You know, you are just trying this out. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. It's, you know, just a hobby, and you still have your hobby at the end of the day. But it is a gateway to explore something more. So overall, it is beneficial for you as a person, but I would also say for your CV, because even in the worst case scenario, you know, you put all this time and effort into, for example, creating social media about your interest. Let's take the example of the drawing. So you create a social media accounts for your drawings, you share them, you create the content there, you film yourself drawing and share your creations, and it just doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't get traction. So after, I don't know, half a year and whatnot, you stop doing that because there was just nothing there. Still, at the end of the day, you still have the experience and all the knowledge and new skills you acquired while pursuing this. Plus, you also have the proof of your work. You know, you still have the accounts, you still have all the content there, and you can very well just put it into your CV. Like, from my own initiative, I started this media account and shared this, and this was the vision, and yada yada. Why not just put it there? You know, it shows initiative, it shows that you are able to work independently and have some dedication, perhaps some discipline as well. And I feel like the potential employers can see it as a advantage on your side, or it can be an advantage for you, because again, it's something extra, something that not everybody will be willing to do, but yeah, you have this benefit from it as well. And not to mention that through the making the project and working on it, it is an opportunity to meet like-minded individuals with whom you'll vibe, share and make friends even, or you can find a mentor, for example, because you'll start to ask questions. How do I do this? I have this vision, but how do I do this and this? And maybe you can connect right with people who have done something similar, ask for advice, and maybe you'll be even surprised that they're how much they'll be willing to share and help you if they have the time, of course. Also, an important side note is that when you decide to do side projects on your passion, you force yourself to excel in it more usually than not. You push yourself to your limits of what you can do, you push yourself to the limits of your craft, and all of that because you want to excel in it. You want to put your best work forward. And I think this is also another important benefit of taking your hobbies and, you know, yourself even a bit more seriously, that it is a way through which you develop alongside the hobby, which also means that you get better at it. So if all else fails, you know, if you have a vision that you will transform your casual everyday hobby into a new business and it doesn't happen for whatever reason, if it's not even worth putting on on your fucking CV, I will bet almost anything that if you decide and follow through with some project, you know, you embark on this journey, you will at least at the very least get better at what you do and what you still hopefully like to do. And that is very important as well, I think. I would also like to give you an example from my own life from this because it is something that I have gone through as well. So, example from my own life. When I was just a wee lad in high school, I became interested in cryptocurrencies. It was big boom back then. It was just 2017, 2018, if I remember correctly, and it has become, or it was becoming more and more popular. And I was one of the guys that became interested in it, started learning about it, started learning about the different trading strategies and how to invest in the cryptocurrencies, all of those things. I got interested, my friend as well. And after a while that we've been talking about it, sharing the articles and news and the limited know-how that we've both acquired in that time, we've decided why not to try share our not even journey, but share what we learn and what are we interested in with other people as well. So after a brief brainstorming session, we've decided to create an online publication to start writing articles in English, which is not our native language. So that was another challenge. And to have some regular schedule for writing the articles. And we just got into it. We created the publication, we named it, we split the roles that were necessary to do so. We, worked on the schedule, so we both had articles coming out every week. We discussed the topics and brainstormed new ideas. And, we've been writing the articles for around a year, if I remember correctly. And even though one could say that in the end it was for nothing, because, it didn't develop into anything more, it didn't become a business. We were just doing it, for ourselves. We wanted to structure what we've learned, to share it, to learn how to, manage this sort of a project. But it never, started making money. It never developed into something more. And after a while, we just, other things took priority and we stopped writing. But still, the experience from it is something I look back to still to this day. I have it in my CV, of course, and already several companies and potential employers reached out to me because of that and offered me a job. And it was all just because we decided, why not? Let's try it. So that can be an example. It can be an example of a side project that developed from an interest of mine. And yeah, still something as trivial as this can still hold many benefits, as I mentioned, even just from the point of view of putting it on the CV, I have done this, I have created this is the proof. And yeah, another example, of course, can be this podcast as well, because it started as a hobby. It is still a hobby, but it's just a hobby that I take a bit more seriously. And it's beneficial, I would say, again, from the viewpoint of, boosting your CV, if you want to look at it like that, but also for me, because now I have decided that I will take my curiosity and the explorative mindset, I would say, a bit more seriously, and I will have some process around it, and I have structured how I will learn about new things. When I will learn about it, there will be a set outcome, the episodes of the podcast, and I can already feel that it is giving me much more than if I would, for example, just randomly Google thing because I was interested and read an article and that was it. Because this forces me to learn a bit more, to then structure my thoughts and all the things that I've learned, the research I've done, prepare the notes for an episode, and then of course record it, edit it a bit, and publish it. And in this whole process, there is so much I have learned, and I'm still learning, and I can already feel the benefits of it because I'm more confident in it. I know now that these are things that I am able to do, and I already have the experience in. And not to mention, of course, it makes it a bit more interesting as well, which maybe should be one of the most important things in all this. You shouldn't probably take and try develop your hobby and interest into something you don't want it to become, that you feel is not a way you want to pursue. But if you feel that there is an opportunity for you to grow with your hobby and to grow the hobby, and you like it, you think it is interesting and exciting, you should probably try to pursue it. And that's the case with me and this podcast, basically. But I'm already repeating myself. I think that this episode is coming to an end. I hope that you have learned something, or maybe not even learned, but got inspired to do something more with your hobbies, to take yourself and the hobbies' interests more seriously, to try to grow them and grow with them, to be open to the possibilities. If you take anything away from this episode, let it be the inspiration to not be afraid to take your interests and hobbies more seriously and explore ways to further develop and grow them. You never know what doors it can open and what opportunity it can bring. And with that, I say goodbye to you.